up, folks? It's your boy. What's happening with y'all out there? I wanted to share with you a very, very personal story. In fact, my channel, Awaken Narrative, as you know, is actually built and built and directed towards exposing lies. Now, at the point of inception, we just happened to be faced with, in the hood, in our neighborhood, we just was faced with quite literally what was a lie of epic proportion. You know, whatever justification for it you may have. Some have said, oh, well, faking your death is legal in California. Okay, if there's a threat, and so on and so forth. Some have said, well, you know, this is just a process of, you know, the Illuminati process and, you know, Freemasonry process, and all the numbers have lined up and so on and so forth. You know, some said, just let him rest in peace, man, whatever. You know, some ignored the fact that it's a fucking lie, whatever. Bottom line is this channel is built towards exposing lies. That's what I love. I love the truth. I'm gonna be honest with you. I love the truth. And I'll tell you a reason why I love the truth down the line, and it has to do with the fact that I lied, and it was a small lie, but it cost me a lot. Oh man, it cost me a lot, and I'd love to talk about that one day. But right now, I want to talk to you about what I have found is the grandest, the biggest lie that we've been told. And the reason why I'm focusing on it is because, quite honestly, unlike the Nipsey Hussle shit that's just going to fade off, this one is not going to fade off because we live it every day. So bear with me, you know. I'm saying, listen, if you don't mind, just hear me out. This one right here is gonna, you know, shake you to your core as well, because you have a belief system that doesn't fit what I'm about to share with you. However, I hope that you'll look into it further and just don't go through the process of denial that we've seen already from the previous example, but at least, you know, process it in a manner that's healthy, that's not restrictive to your mind, and not restrictive to your senses, your spirit, your soul. So, thank you for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Please make a comment on this one. I love to just dialogue deeply about this one, because I've done this research for a very, very long time. And I was just like you. I was in absolute denial of this fact. However, after actual continuous research, here's what it is. So here's my story. Here's my, you know, flat, level, horizontal, infinite, to me, infinite earth awakening story. I, like you, have always been intrigued and interested in learning more about all kind of shit, because for some reason my inner man, my spirit man, was always like, this is not what life's all about. You know, to go through an education or indoctrination system, a belief system, to just go from there to get a job, and then from there, you know, you have a family and a home, right? And then from there, you know, you're living the day to day just to live. I felt like there was more to this, absolutely more to this. I believe you do as well. And so with that said, I've always sought for more information, especially in the spiritual, metaphysical dynamic. I always did. And in fact, it led me into research at all dynamics, you know. This was pre 9/11. And then even when 9/11 happened, I researched that, and, you know, nothing added up, nothing makes sense. Now I can say, hey, whatever, you don't believe 9/11, go look at Building 7. and that's the coup de grace. That's the one that just makes them, say, what are you talking about? Or they just go into denial. They go into cognitive dissonance, as we talked about before. So went through that, went into looking at aliens and Area 51 and Rousseau and his everybody's shit, man. William Cooper. I read Pale White Horse. I mean, I remember the story of Mel's Hole. You could probably look that up. I was on Art Bell Radio. You know what I'm saying? I'm like old school OG original looking at this type of shit. And even back in like 08, 09, when I was hit with, I'm gonna call it flat earth. I like horizontal earth, as me and one of my homeboys talked about. Flat is like whatever. You don't think there's no mountains, then you think there's a disc floating in space and nothing below it, and that's all bullshit. That's the shit that they want you. That's the shit they want you to see, so you can make a mockery of it. But that's not what it is. I like to call ourselves the floor of the universe. That we are the base. There's nothing below us. The deepest that they've ever dug was whatever 8 miles, 9 miles, whatever it might have been. So how can they go and tell you what's the core and so on and so forth? It's all made up. It's called pseudoscience. But anyways, I digress. Let's go back to my story. So I went into this thing back in like 08, 09, was going through the recession, going through this, bubble burst of this, economic collapse and so on and so forth. And, quite honestly, I had time on my hands. Anyway, so I looked into this thing. I didn't look into it. And back in 08, 09, it came across my YouTube. I was like, oh, that's stupid shit. Never even clicked on it. I was like, that's some stupid ass shit. You stupid ass motherfuckers. Never clicked. It wasn't until fast forward and I, delved into from that point, quite honestly, I went and served hard at the church. I did. I served hard at the church. You know what I'm saying? At the altar, crying, all that shit. The whole shebang. I'm going to be honest with y'all. That's what I did. And I'll tell you about that story and what I understand about that as well. Another point, I don't like banging on people so much. I want to bang on what the truth is. So, went through all that. And then all of a sudden, I think it was like 2014 to 2016 was just huge. It's true. It's significant in our spiritual growth. I know it's the age of Aquarius and all of this stuff. I understand that. I think that helps put it in perspective what's going on in this day, why things are being exposed and why truth is so evident and why it's becoming like on the forefront. Okay, I believe 2014, 2016, there was a significant growth because we're slow. This is supposed to happen in year 2000, but we're slow. So it's taken us now to fucking 20 years to fucking start opening our eyes. Real talk, because we're slow. They made us slow. You are slow. If you're getting mad right now, it's because your ass is slow. Hate to say, you probably had a helmet on growing up your whole fucking life. You might as well walk around with a helmet because your ass is slow. Fuck it, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna talk shit. Secondly, after it hit me, right? It hit me at the same time that some other stuff was hitting me, like other stuff. Like for instance, my falling away from the church and the way that it happened. I'll tell you that story at another point. And the way that happened, it was like, damn. And it was not on me. It was not a decision. I did not make a mistake. It was not, I was trying to live the perfect life. No one's perfect. As you can tell, I'm definitely not perfect. I was trying to live the perfect life. But anyways, so the falling away from the church happened in a whole nother manner. I'll tell you about that another day. But here's my point. I had a little bit of time because I was running my own business and it gave me the freedom to open and free my mind, which I needed. It was essential actually to the growth of my business. It's absolutely essential to the growth of my business. And so I know that it was in line with the Most High. What happened was I got introduced, or it came across my page again, Flat Earth. But this time it was a brother by the name of Dave Murphy. So first cat I decided to listen. I said, let me listen to this dude because he's a brother, right? Then next thing you know, he had a UK accent and so on. It was an interview, right? And he was talking about some points. And I was like, oh, man, I didn't go into cognitive dissonance and I didn't start talking shit, continue talking shit. I was like, damn, this motherfucker's bringing up some good ass points. And I said, damn, I can't believe I have not even looked at it like this before. This is crazy. Again, it was 2014. It was in a whole different era for us. It's a period that was essential to our spiritual growth. Unless you slow. So, anyways, after I heard his stuff, I was like, oh, wow, let me see. Let me look into this a little bit deeper. Next thing you know, Eric Dubé popped up. Now, I'm not talking about folks that I need to be a follower of. I'm my own individual. I don't need to follow anybody as it relates to what his beliefs is and so on and so forth. So these people have other realms of their belief that you can come back and say, oh, you following this dude and he's a this and that. Nigga, I'm a this and that. So I'm not perfect. The information he gave was vital to my understanding, for my understanding, okay? And it went further from there. I mean, there's been a whole slew, and I'm not going to start name dropping all the people that I had, because once you get into it and you start digging into it, you can't stop, because it is essential to your spirit man. It is the core of your man that's asking for this information. It is, I'm telling you, and that's when I decided, shit, it's time for me to do something. I better do a channel so that way I could at least wake up some people's inner spirit, man, that have never looked at this thing or just shunned this thing or said, oh, this stuff is stupid, or whatever you guys have said in the past, or even at this point now, still not wanting to look at it. I'm telling you, this is one of those things. It's spiritual. It's about truth. It's the devil's stronghold over this world. It's this thing that right now that's making that's causing all this disarray, this confusion in this world. Okay, I'm talking about sexual confusion. I'm talking about perversion. I'm talking about, listen, I'm talking about even divorce, okay? Keeping it real. The breaking up of the family. Listen, this thing that they got us believing that we're a spinning ball, whirling and twirling with a tilt of of the devil's number and a speed of the devil's number, and we're doing all of this stuff and spinning into an infinite galaxy. What it's doing is stealing your spirit man. That's what it's doing. It's killing your spirit man. And I'm going to unpack that. I'm going to tell you why. And those willing to go deeper can go deeper. If you're not, whatever, man, I'm not tripping. You're going to realize it one day. It might take you a while. You slow. Straight up, you slow. But you'll realize it one day. One day you're going to say, shit, I've been believing a fucking lie my whole damn life, because they told you at age 5, bruh. No, probably even before that. And every imagery that they put in front of you is about, listen, do you believe that the moon landing happened? I'm just bringing some points up. Do you believe that happened? How come we haven't been back? Oh, well, did that? Nah, you're starting to, that's cognitive dissonance, nigga. Look at the Space Shuttle Columbia, the astronauts on that, and they're gonna show you who they are today, that they're still alive, and what you're gonna say? Oh, well, they already debunked that, whatever, Mythbusters already debunked. Nigga, that Mythbusters, listen, don't you understand that this is a spiritual war, and they're using your physical body to go through this with you? And the weapon that's going to allow you to win is understanding exactly what you are, who you are, that you're divine, and that this place was built for you. You understand? And that there is a higher level, a most high individual or individuals that have built this place for us. and it's been hijacked. And we're gonna unpack that. This is your boy Awakened Narrative, man. Peace.